What's up, everybody? It's your boy Adam back at you again. It is hashtag homeless day 79. Day 79 of being sick and tired of being homeless, that's for sure. Let's see. I have a few things written down I could talk about today. But I'll just give you guys the daily what's it like being homeless update. And there really isn't much going on in that department. Yesterday, what did I do yesterday? I took it easy. I did not take a rest day because, I don't have any of those. But I kind of just decided I had all these busy work appointments in the morning with social services and such. And social services actually sent me a nasty email about how I've pretty much stopped sending them updates on my housing search. The last update I sent this woman was, look, I don't have a job. These landlords won't give me the time of day because I don't have a job. There are 10 apartments available in Jamestown. 10. In fact, there's probably less than that when I call out the ones that are too expensive because they have to be $700 a month or less, or they don't count as in my search. I can only show them ones that I found that are under $700 a month. So that is pretty much I have to do 5 a week. And I have to show them that I made contact with the landlords. I went and looked at these places, etc. And I'm telling the lady, I'm like, there's 10. There's 10. There's no more. She says, well, you've got to go and look at all these different websites. I've looked at them all the ones that you've sent me. Go look yourself, for crying out loud. And on top of that, like I said, I don't have a job. None of these, every time I talk to one of these landlords, they're like, oh, we need to see your income statements and debt to income ratio and credit score of this and that. And it's like, dude, background check, this, that, and the other thing. I'm not going to find a place in Jamestown to live. That is 100% for sure. There are 10 apartments available in this city, and there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of homeless people, and they won't even allow any of those people to move in. So, I don't know what the hell. I mean, take away my benefits then. Do whatever the fuck you're going to do, because at this point, I've done it. I've found them all. It's like Pokemon. I got them all. I found them. There's no more to be found. They're all owned by the same 2 landlords, so I've already burned my reputation with every slumlord in town to where if I do get a job, they're going to be like, oh, are you that deadbeat that called me a couple months ago looking for a place to live, who didn't have a job and anything else going for you? Oh, yeah, and your criminal background and the fact that your last landlord's going to tell me that there was $12,000 worth of damage done to the house that you were living in when the FBI smashed it all to hell with a tank. Yeah, it's going to be great. Now, if I was in a bigger city, Buffalo, Pittsburgh, Rochester, etc., there are hundreds of available places to rent. Hundreds. I don't check regularly, but I've checked many times. I don't do it every week. But so this woman gets back to me and says, well, you have to expand your apartment search for the whole county. Okay, now there's 13 available apartments to rent in Chautauqua County. And so now I don't have a car. So now I got to go and waste a day of my life sitting on a bus to go out and look at an apartment for 5 minutes, turn around and take a bus back and pretty much spend a whole day of my life. No, I'm not doing it. I am not doing it. So whatever the hell is going to happen as a result of me refusing to do this nonsense is going to happen. I've put my foot down at some point and said, no, I'm not going to waste days of my life going to search for an apartment where the landlord's not going to give me the time of day or even let me move into the place. Even if the county's going to kick in some money and help me out with the first month or two's rent, what happens when I don't have a job at the end of those 2 months? It's been 11 weeks now I've been homeless. It's been longer than that, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I'm closing in on 20 weeks without being able to find a job. So no, I'm not going to move into an apartment so that I can be thrown back out into the street a month or two later. That's not happening. I'm not doing it. If it means I get kicked out of the homeless shelter and I got to go live under a tree, so be it. I don't care anymore. This is the most ridiculous. It's ridiculous, and I got to stop because I just spent 4 minutes going down that rabbit hole because I get triggered just by thinking about how ridiculous it is. And so, but I had to go to all these stupid ass appointments to, show them that I'm looking for a job and whatnot. And then I came back and I just said, you know what? I spent more than 40 hours a week, or I spent more than 40 hours looking for a job by the end of the day, Wednesday. So Thursday and Friday, I decided, you know what? I'm going to do stuff for me. I'm going to do stuff that I want to do. And I want to find a job. So don't get me, that's not, I needed to do something that would take my mind off of things. So I'm just, one of the things I did at shop.litgood.com, if you go there, there's 14 decent photographs for sale to hang on your wall. I said that my goal right now is to get 20 up there, and I have the other 6. They're all prepared. They're all the different crop aspect ratios are in place. All the work that I have to do before I start listing them on Etsy is done. So all I have to do is go to Etsy and create the listings, but each listing takes, just the listing part on Etsy can be 20 minutes to half an hour, up to an hour, depending on how many times I got to click the mouse and copy and paste stuff around. It's a tedious process. It takes time. But the beauty of it is once it's done, it's done. It's up there. And so I don't have to every time I put in the time to do that, I'm adding 1, 2, 3. I think 12. I added 3 yesterday. I don't remember. I think it took a couple hours to get 3 of them up there. And then I had some extra time left. And so the other thing I was telling you guys about is I'm starting my own business because I refuse, if Burger King won't hire me, if I can't get a job from any company on earth again because of, my criminal background, then I'm going to have to do it myself. And that's just the way it's going to be. And so, like I said, I have 2 fictitious names that I'm using right now. One is for my photography. It's called Lit Good Photography. And the reason why I chose the name had more to do with domain names, .com especially, because here's the thing, if you come up with a name for your business, but the .com domain name is already taken, well then that's going to create confusion right off the bat. Even if the domain name's not being used and it's just parked, a lot of times people buy good domain names and then they sit on them for years waiting for someone to buy them. A few of the domain names I found yesterday, one was available for $15,000 to buy it from the guy who owns it. Another one that I found was $33,000 to buy the domain name .com. So I'm looking for a domain name that's been unclaimed and it's just sitting there waiting for the taking, $10 to get a year's registration out of it. And so litgood.com, I spent 2 days, maybe 3 days, just toying around with different ideas. And every time I would come up with a business name, I would go look at the domain names. In fact, I kind of got to the mindset of looking for a domain name first and then saying, can I apply this? And so what I was looking for was the fewest number of syllables possible. And when you're coming up with a domain name for your business, it has to be something that dumb people can spell. I mean, I'm just going to be blunt. If stupid people can't spell the word that you're telling them, it doesn't work. I had a domain name because my last name is Bees. So the bumblebee, the bee, I put a bee in my logo a lot, or a honeycomb, or a bee and a honeycomb and things to help people pronounce my name. And it works. And I had a domain name, and I only used this for my resume and that kind of stuff back in the day, and it was hiveintellect.com. And it was kind of like Hive Intelligence, that kind of thing. Can you imagine how many times I had to spell that out for dumb people who couldn't spell the word intellect? And so every time I would be on the phone with an idiot or okay, it's Hiveintell. Oh, is that an E or a B? Hiveintellect. I had to do that hundreds of times over the 5 to 10 years. And finally I got sick of it. I'm like, I'm done with this domain name. It's over. So I let it go. And I have a different one for my portfolio now, and it's easy. And when I tell people, it creates no confusion. It's easy for them to remember. They can write it right down. They can type it in as I speak it. Easy. I haven't had a single issue since I bought it. But for my photography, I got an even better one. 4 syllables, litgood.com. And if you can't spell lit and if you can't spell good, then you probably can't afford to buy any of the photography that's on litgood.com. I mean, it's pointless at that point. So, I mean, that's about as easy as they get, especially nowadays, because I am pretty sure that every single word in the dictionary, and I'm talking about the unabridged Webster's dictionary, every single word with .com is probably already taken. I can guarantee you that. So it's hard to find 2 word combinations now. And so I'll sit there and I have like 20 different tools that I'm utilizing to try and come up with ideas. And it's just a brainstorming session. So for this particular business right now that I'm coming up with a domain name for, I have a note file that's just probably 10 pages deep of ideas, random words, word combinations, all this and that and the other thing. And as I get better ideas, I just kind of elevate those to the top of the page. And now sitting at the top of that page, there are 3 really pretty good, I don't know if they're really good, but they're pretty good business names with an available .com domain name that are easy to remember, easy to spell, that would be appropriate for the people that I'm trying to market myself to. And so I'm just kind of gonna sit there and let that stew in my head. Part of the creative process is, it's kind of like I was talking about yesterday, having quiet time with God, and when you stop trying to think about everything that's bothering you or the problems that you're facing, and you just let it go and forget about it for a while. A lot of times when you're not thinking about it, that's when the solutions to your problems magically appear. The more you focus on trying to power your way through something or fight your way through something, the harder it gets to fight your way through. And so when you're in that creative process, the first part of the process is just brainstorming. Write down any idea that you have, even if it's stupid. Just write them all down. Just every idea. It doesn't matter. Just any idea. So for this business name thing, I'm literally just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of names and business names and words and anything that comes to my mind. I'm using Google Gemini to AI generate a bunch of random stuff, and I'm just looking at them. I'm like, oh, that might be something, and oh, that one, I like that. Or that triggers, looking at a certain word combination triggers something else. And then I start elevating the ones that I like higher up in the list or on my note sheet. And then I start looking for domain names. I'm doing research. Does this company name already exist? And all these kinds of things. And I'm using a thesaurus. I'm using rhyming dictionaries. I'm using other tools. Maybe I'll put a list of tools in the notes down below in the video if I have time today. But even if I did put a list of tools down there, I don't know if I could cover them all because there's a lot of different things available. So I came up with 3 that I like, that if I were to buy any of the 3 right now, I would be satisfied with them. But one of them is really, really, really awesome. I'm not going to share them with you guys right now because, if 20,000 people come and watch this video, then they're going to steal them from me and I'm not going to be able to buy the domain name. So I'm going to keep that to myself until I actually buy one and stick with it. Then I'll let you know. This one domain name is available, and it's hilarious. It's hysterical. It definitely fits my personality, but it might be too controversial and too abrasive, and I might be turning down business or driving people away because of the name. And so I'm kind of weighing back and forth. I'm thinking about, I don't know. I don't know if that is the right way to go for this. And then there's another one out of the three. There's three that I like. There's two that I like better than the third. The one, my best friend, he looked at them all and he said he agreed with me on the controversy one. It might be a little bit too much, especially in today's political climate. Hilarious though. I feel like I need to buy the domain name just to own it. It's so good. The other one is, it's good, but he my friend even said, he's like, you're not there yet. It's not 100%. And I kind of agree with that. So I'm going to sit on it. I'm just going to walk away from it for a bit, let it sit there and stew. I'm not going to just jump right on it and buy it. Litgood.com, as soon as I saw that was available, boom, I grabbed that instantly. I was like, that's it. That's my logo. And then the logo, for the logo that you see for litgood.com, I actually used Google Gemini. I said, come up with a logo for a photography business called Litgood Photography. And then I kind of went back and forth with the AI tool, and I said, throw some religious symbols in there. And of course, it threw in the Jesus cross and all this stuff. And I'm like, and so I had to tell Google, I'm like, Google, just tone it down a little bit. Give me some other religious symbols that aren't the cross. And it came up with this one. It was the cursive text with a bird. And I'm like, the bird. That's so perfect for me right now. Because look at the birds of the air. They neither sow nor reap nor gather into barns, yet your heavenly Father still feeds them. And I'm like, that is absolutely perfect because it has meaning to me. And so that's how the little bird for the Lit Good Photography logo came about. It was just a conversation back and forth with an AI bot until it spit me back something that I thought, I could work with that. And so I took what it gave me and then I redrew the whole thing and made it a little bit better and tightened it up and made it and kind of perfected it. But I really like it. It doesn't have a camera in the logo. It doesn't have, the cliche stuff in the logo. A lot of photographers right now, they have a logo where it's just a cursive version of a calligraphic or cursive writing version of their name. And so it's kind of a play on that. It kind of looks like a lot of other photography logos in that respect, but with the little bird mixed in with it. And then the bird by itself can be its own thing here and there for different uses. Like you'll see down in the bottom corner here of the videos on YouTube, there's a little bird. And if you click on that, it'll help, you'll subscribe to the channel. So go down there, click on the little bird, and little birdie told me to tell you that. And so if you click on that, you'll subscribe to the channel. I don't think you want to click on that if you've already subscribed, or I'll end up losing a subscriber. But if you haven't subscribed yet, click on the bird. And I was going to say, if you don't want to click on the bird, I'll just give you the bird, but I'm going to try and be friendly with y'all today. So there's that. So I'm working on a fictitious business name. And once I get the domain name and a name figured out, you really don't even have, just to get started out the gate, you don't have to go through the whole process of, especially this day and age, you really don't have to go through the process of registering this with the government and all that nonsense. You do, but you don't. You can start doing your business right off the bat. It's just, what you need to be able to, the next step would be getting a fictitious business name certificate from the state. And what that will allow you to do is go to a bank account and open a business account in your business name. But to get your feet off the ground and to start things off, you just use your personal information. The only thing is, if you have clients, your clients are going to have to, if they're sending you a paper check, which most don't anymore, a paper check, they're going to have to write it out to your personal name instead of your business name, because your business your state doesn't recognize your business name until you register it with them. And you can start off something like this, something like I'm doing as a sole proprietorship. Yeah, you're taking the risk of somebody suing you and being personally held liable for all that kind of stuff. But when you're doing freelance graphic design and things like that, it's not the same as if you're opening a restaurant, you know? Like the things that I'm not worried about it right now. I'm doing it quick. I'm trying to do it as fast as I can and spend the least amount of money as I can until I get some money in my pocket. Then I'll register the fictitious name. I'll make it an LLC. I'll do all that kind of stuff so that if my website brings down half the internet and I get sued for it, I'll be like, well, that wasn't me. That was my company over there, and I don't have to give you nothing. And then, you can take all the assets that my company doesn't have, and then I can go bankrupt and put that company out of business, just spin up another fake name and call myself something else. And that's basically what all the rich people do. There's a book I was reading in prison called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Some of you may have heard of it. It's a pretty famous book. I think that I didn't like the book. I thought it was trash. I mean, the title of the book could have just been Don't Be Poor. Could have been Don't Be Poor. That's pretty much what the message of the book is, don't be poor. But he does talk about in this book about how he's rich, and one of the things that he does, he brags about driving around in a $200,000 Porsche that he doesn't pay any taxes on, and he writes it off as a business expense, so that's $200,000 of income that he doesn't have to pay taxes on, because his Porsche that he drives everywhere in and parks in his garage every night is owned by his corporation. It's a legitimate business expense for his corporation to own a $200,000 Porsche. That's the kind of shit rich people do. And they do it because they have the lawyers, they can afford the lawyers, and they can afford all the legal help to, basically deal with the government when the government comes knocking on the door looking for their tax money, and looking to do an audit and all that kind of stuff. So, no, like you and I, like sitting around homeless all day, no, I'm not able to write off, I don't even think if I was living under the bridge, I could write off my heroin needles on my taxes. So, I mean, I don't know. Don't be poor. That should be the title. But, rich dad, poor dad, whatever, that's the whole message of that book is don't be poor. It doesn't really give you any decent advice at all. I mean, I was looking for it. I'm like, when's the advice of how to not be poor going to be in this book? And it's just one page after the next of, well, when you're poor, life sucks. And when you're rich, life is awesome. The end. And so, I don't know. I'm going to get into some of this other stuff I had written down to talk about. I think that I spent some time with Jesus this morning. And there's the book I keep talking about. I'm going to read this more and more, especially when it relates to exactly what I'm going through. The book is called Jesus Calling. It's by Sarah Young. It's a daily devotional. It's just a page a day, and it's written in the style of Jesus having a conversation with you. It's based on biblical verses where she just expands what's in the Bible and rewords it to make it sound like Jesus is having a conversation with you and telling you words of wisdom every day. And so for August 3rd, this is what Jesus had to say to me through the book today. Watch your words diligently. Words have such great power to bless or to wound. When you speak carelessly or negatively, you damage others as well as yourself. This ability to verbalize is an awesome privilege granted only to those I created in my image. You need help in wielding this mighty power responsibly. Though the world applauds quick-witted retorts, it certainly does. My instructions about communication are quite different. Be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. Ask my Spirit to help you whenever you speak. I have trained you to pray. Help me, Holy Spirit, before answering the phone. and you have seen the benefits of this discipline. Simply apply the same discipline to communicating with people around you. If they are silent, pray before speaking to them. If they are talking, pray before responding. These are split-second prayers, but they put you in touch with my presence. In this way, your speaking comes under the control of my spirit. As positive speech patterns replace your negative ones, the increase in your joy will amaze you. So, he couldn't have really put it any more bluntly than Jesus just did in my situation, because the whole thing that got me into the situation was my obnoxious mouth. And Proverbs chapter 18, verses 6 through 7 says, I try to memorize these things, but the mouth of a fool enters into contention, and his lips call for blows. And then I'm not doing this exactly right, but the lips of a fool enter into rewind. The lips of a fool enter into contention, and his mouth calls for blows. The mouth of a fool is his destruction, and his lips are the snare of his soul. That's almost an exact quote of the New King James Version of Proverbs 18, 6 and 7. The mouth of a fool is his own destruction. And all it took was a few well-placed sentences on social media to completely and utterly destroy my life in every possible way you can imagine. Destruction. It was like a tornado came through my trailer park and just ripped everything to shreds. And there's nothing left. There's not a single piece of my trailer bigger than this. Bigger than the size of a golf ball. Nothing is left. There's nothing left. All because I uttered a few well-placed sentences that were pretty vile and pretty nasty on social media. On a backwoods social media site that nobody was paying attention to, or so I thought. That's all it took. That's all it took. And I don't know if I'm ever going to recover from it. The destruction was so intense and so significant, and destroyed every single aspect of my life, from head to toe, from shoulder to shoulder, from east to west, north to south, up and down, every direction, everything. It's like a sphere of chaos enveloping me, and there's nothing I can do about it at this point. And so I'm just sitting around, wondering, God, am I going to suffer for the rest of my life for this? Am I going to come back from it? Are you going to help me? Or have you just said, you know what, I'm done. I'm done with you. I gave you every chance in the world to be my disciple, to be my one of my people, and I'm done with you, man. I'm done. I certainly feel like that quite often. I'm not going to lie. That, I look at all the things that God did in my life up until that point, and then it was like God was like, you know what? If that's how you're going to be, forget it. I'm done. Get out of here. And so I'm just waiting. And so I open up In Touch this morning, the second devotional that I like to read, Dr. Charles Stanley's organization. And so today's daily devotion, once again, August 3rd, the title is Wait for the Lord. And the subtitle is God loves you. You can trust him to do what is best for you. And it goes on from there. Trusting God's timing can be incredibly difficult when everything within us cries, do something. When we're dealing with a painful or a challenging situation, we want action. So waiting for God feels passive. Didn't I just talk about this yesterday, that I always feel like I got to be doing something. I can't take a rest. To wait for the Lord means to pause for further instruction while remaining in the present circumstance. It is a purposeful, expectant focus on God, a choice to be still and quiet in our heart while listening for his voice and watching for his intervention. And that comes from Psalm 46, verse 10. At times, God will change a situation to redirect us, or he will motivate another person to give guidance. However, always remember that any advice or direction we're given must align with the Lord's will as revealed in his word, otherwise it is not from him. The first step in waiting for the Lord is submission to his choice of how and when he will act. What are you hoping God will do? Are you seeking him, or are you seeking only the thing that you want from him? Since he alone knows what is best for you, let go and trust his decision. So, I keep telling you guys, this is what I struggle with. I feel like I constantly have to be doing something. And I have a hard time just sitting down and doing nothing. And the longer I've been out of jail, out of prison, the more the fast-paced world is just flying around me like, whoa, 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 what's this, what's that, what's going on there, oh, what about this, and what about that, all that stuff. It's daunting. I can't, you all told me, some of you told me yesterday in the comments, the guy's name from Shawshank Redemption, the old, was it Jones? I don't know his name. The old guy from Shawshank Redemption, and when he got out of prison after spending most of his life in there, he couldn't handle the pace of the world all of a sudden. Even though he got a job as a bagger at the grocery store, he came home and hung himself because he couldn't take it. And, that's not me. Don't get me, don't confuse me with that kind of thought. But, the being out of the game for 2 whole years, to where you can't do anything. You literally, you cannot, there's nothing the lower the security, the facility you're in, the more stuff there is to do to occupy your time and to occupy your brain. But there's still nothing going on behind those bars. There's no rehabilitation, there's no reform, none of that. That's a myth. It's all about just torturing you and punishing you for what you did wrong. And that's the only thing it is. And whether you believe that's right or wrong, that's what it is. We could talk about that in great detail, but today's not the day. But ever since I've been out, I'm running around doing this, doing that. I do see signs regularly that God has my back. Yesterday, I was going to go use my EBT card to grab a pizza at the pizza shop, that the only place in town where you can get a hot meal with an EBT card. It was like late in the afternoon, but it's also the day that it's the day that I should not go eat pizza at this place. Even though it was earlier than the time I shouldn't be there, I said to myself, you need to get as far away from this area of town as possible, because I just don't want to be here. I don't want to take the risk of ruining my good mood, because I was in a pretty decent mood at the time. And I'm like, if I run into the wrong person, it's going to change my whole state of mind, and I don't need that today. I don't need it. So I went for a walk. I walked like 2-3 miles away from that area to the other side of town and outside of town. And I went and grabbed a bite to eat, and I had to spend money to do it. And I hate doing that right now. But I was using the Wi-Fi at this place, and they have really fast Wi-Fi. So I'm like, well, whatever. And I'm like, so I decide how I'm going to pay for it. And I'm like, and I looked at like what I had in that bank account, and I said, well, I'm still okay. I can still pay my Adobe software subscription when it comes up in the month and whatever, and I'll still be okay. And then I wake up this morning, and someone dropped 50 bones into the chicken bucket, and I'm like, wow. I'm just floored. I'm floored that strangers I've never even met, will do something like that. It just blows my mind. So if you're watching this, you know who you are. I'm not going to dox people online. I'm not, that's not me. thank you for that. That is a heck of a lot of iced coffee, and that covers the food that I ate yesterday while I sat there for 3 hours using the Wi-Fi, and I got a lot done. I got 3 photographs listed on shop.litgood.com. 3 photographs pushed up there. And I sat there for an hour brainstorming business names. And that turned into a good start. That when I got back to the homeless shelter, I went straight up to the room. I sat there, brainstormed some more. And by the end of the night, by 11 o'clock at night, when I couldn't keep my eyes open anymore, I had 3 good names for a business that have an available domain name. And I also did some quick checks. And none of the 3 business names exist in terms of companies using those names. So, I'm gonna let those stew. But yeah, I mean, this is how it's been going. And it's almost like God is just saying, look, I got your back. Have you missed an Adobe subscription payment yet? No. Have you gone hungry yet? No. Have you, all these different things. And I feel like I have to get a job because it's part of my probation requirements to have a job, full-time job, 35 hours a week. It's written in plain English. And on day 1, I asked my probation officer, if I freelance, does that count? And he says, well, I can't remember exactly how he answered that, but he kind of answered it in a way, well, your requirement is to have a job. And so, but he didn't really say that I couldn't do it either. I think what they care about the most is, did I pay my fines? Am I legitimately making money? That, am I out there not selling drugs and getting rich off of illegal activity? Am I productive? Am I paying off the fine, which is, it's a $1,400 fine. If I get one of these software jobs that I'm up for, I can pay for it in one paycheck. If I get a minimum wage job, I'll be making payments on it until it's paid off. But one way or another, that's what they care about. That's what they care about. You got a place to live? Can you pay your bills? At least that's what I think they care about. So to survive, I'm not going to just lay down and die. If Burger King, McDonald's, Target, Walmart, all mom and pop's pizza emporium, like if none of these places will give me a job, then I'm not going to just lay down and die. I'm going to do something about it. So I'm starting my own company. Forget it. If that's what I have to do, I have to do it. And so the first thing I have to get done is coming up with a name for that. And so that's what I'm working on, and it's going pretty well. And I think by the end of the weekend, I'm just gonna, I'm gonna buy a domain name and go with it. I may change my mind later on down the road, but it'll be $10 to get the domain name. And the funny one, the humorous, obnoxious, controversial one, I might just buy it just to have. I'm not 100% sure on that. So I'm just thinking about it as I talk to you guys, but that's where I'm at with that stuff. I'm going to check the time here on the video. 38 minutes. I can spend a couple more minutes with y'all. I'm waiting. I got time before the library opens, and I'm trying to not go to Tim Hortons all day today because I'm just, that place grinds on, it place gets under my skin. But the library doesn't open for another 50 minutes. And so the walk up there is about 5 to 10. And I would much rather sit at the library from 10 to 4 and then figure out what I want to do from there than go to Tim Hortons and sit in that loud, obnoxious, especially on Saturday morning. It's loud and obnoxious, and you've seen it. I've shown you in the videos. So yeah, we're talking about, let's see, social media. Like I said, I'm on Twitter right now. I'm thinking about Twitter has the premium payment plans right now, and the cheapest one is $3 a month if you do it monthly, or it's like $35 for a year. And what that would give me the first level of that would allow me to post these videos directly to Twitter, the full length. Because right now Twitter, it's a 2-minute limit for a video post. But if you pay them, you can post up to 2 hours, where a video that's 2 hours long. And so I'm thinking about this. I don't know 100% right now. I'm not going to do it today. I'm not sure if it's worth it. I did get suspended. I did get 12 hours in Twitter jail the other day for talking about the boxer that likes to beat up women, the male boxer who's going to win. the male boxer that's going to get the gold medal in the women's boxing event at the Olympics. Talking about him got me in trouble. So let's see. But I mean, the stuff that I see getting posted on Twitter day after day after day, I'm like, it's still it's still pretty much the Wild West all of a sudden. I mean, and this was a bot. It was just the way that I worded my post that got me suspended. Like, no human being made that decision. It was just the phrasing of it. I could have worded it in a different way and said the same exact thing, and the bot wouldn't have caught on. So I just got to be more conscious about that. I wasn't threatening anybody. I didn't make a single threat or nothing like that. Nothing like that. It was just a bot-driven, oops, you're not supposed to say that. But so I'm just letting you know, Twitter still does that. Like, Elon Musk didn't stop it. But you know, like I said, my options were file an appeal and wait 3 to 6 months for my day in court, Twitter court, or I can plead guilty, and my plea deal was 12 hours in Twitter jail. And so I was like, well, I guess I'm going to have to plead guilty and sit in Twitter jail for 12 hours, because otherwise I'm sitting in Twitter jail for 6 months. And that's exactly how the court systems work right now. You get charged with a crime, they throw you in jail, they let you sit for months, years. In fact, at the jail I was at, when I first got arrested, there were people with federal cases sitting in that place for 6 years. 6 years who never had a day in court. They're still waiting for a date for their trial. They're still waiting for that. They're still trying to get a plea deal at this point. So what'll happen is when the prosecutors feel like that person's done enough time, according to them, then they'll turn around and offer them a plea deal, and it'll say, you can go home today if you sign here. We'll let you go. And so that gives the prosecutor that big W in the win column, another tick mark, 98% conviction rate. That gives the prosecutor the win that they're looking for. And if you've been in this jail, if you were in a jail with no windows, I was in that place for 14 months, never saw a tree, never saw the sun, never really saw what the outside world looked like, ever. If they took me to and from court, they took me in a van with no windows, pure black, with an LED light shining in your face, so that you can't tell where you are. I could kind of tell. I just have a really good sense of direction, so I could tell where we were based on the time that it elapsed and the turns that we were making. I'm kind of like Liam Neeson in the Taken movies, where, like, if you kidnap me and blindfold me and put me in the back of a vehicle, I'm still going to be... I made 2 right turns, 1 left turn. 30 seconds later, we made another left. We're on the I-95 South. I'll be able to tell you where we're at, even if you do that to me. But that's how I had to kind of gauge where we were on our way to court and back. And I would tell the people in the back of the van with me, I think we just got on 79 South. So in about 20 minutes, okay, boom, okay, we're getting off the exit now. I can tell we're in the north side, because the exit ramp was to the right and it went up a little embankment. And then I'm like, okay, now we're going across the 6th Street Bridge, and now we're pulling in, now we're on Grant Street for sure, and now we're pulling into the federal courthouse. And like, I could tell them that. But I never saw the outside world. They take you into the courthouse. It's an underground garage. You never see a tree. You never see the sun. 14 months, that was me. There are people in that jail waiting for cases to wrap up, to have their day in court They've been sitting there for 6 fucking years. 6 fucking years. In a jail with no windows, no trees, no light, no sun, nothing. 6 fucking years waiting for a day in court. That's our government right there. That's what they do to you. It's corrupt beyond your wildest imagination. And some of you out there will think that people deserve it. Maybe there are some people who deserve it. Now, there was a guy in that jail that I was with. I could talk about this in a lot more detail, but he was the guy who shot up the synagogue in Pittsburgh. He was in that jail with me. I saw him. I had to cook meals for him. I had to cook special meals for him. They were trying to get him to keep from committing suicide, and I was the one of the cooks for the cops. And they had me cooking special meals for the guy, so to try and keep him from committing suicide. And I didn't spit in his food. I didn't do anything like that. I can't say I felt bad for the guy. I mean, he killed 11 people, I believe. He got the death penalty, so he's waiting on death row in Indiana right now. He'll be sitting in solitary confinement there for 10 years before they finally, do what they do, if they're going to do what they do. And to be honest, I'm going off on a tangent here, but I don't believe in the death penalty anymore. I don't. A million reasons why. I read a lot of books on the subject, a lot of the corruption that I've seen. The fact that the government can put people to death and then 10 years later, I guess the guy was innocent after all. Happens all the time. That's one reason right there. Another reason is because my belief in God just tells me that we don't have the right to take someone else's life, even if somebody took the life of my child. You're damn right I would want to see that sucker fry. You're damn right. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I'd probably go back to believing in the death penalty, but after having been in prison and been in jail, that's worse. That's a worse fate. Because when you die, when they kill you, you're done. Your ride is over. You don't got to worry about it anymore. Sitting in prison, sitting in jail, especially the kind of jail and the kind of situation that they're going to put a murderer in like that, believe me, that's a lot worse than the death penalty. A lot worse. Living your life in a tiny little box, 23 hours a day, never having contact with another human being, getting 1 hour a day to go walk around a little bit bigger box with a 3 foot by 3 foot window at the top of the room where you can see a patch of sky. And that's it. That's your life for the rest of your life. And then you get to sit there wondering when you're going to die. You get to sit there and wonder when do I die? When am I going to die? When am I going to die and not have to do this anymore? When am I going to die and not have to live this way anymore? Like that, believe me, if you've ever been in this situation, if you've ever been in jail, been in prison, every single person will agree with me on that being in there is worse than dying. It's worse than death. So, keep that in mind. All you people that support the death penalty, if you really want the person to suffer, let them rot in prison for the rest of their life. That is 100 times worse than dying. They're going to want to kill themselves every freaking day for the rest of their life. And they're going to be in a room where they can't do it, or it's going to be extremely difficult for them to pull it off. That is much worse than death. Much worse. That was a big side trip there we just took. I'm just kind of going off the cuff today because I didn't write down a whole lot of stuff to talk about. And I don't know, I was talking about social media a minute ago. Like I said, I'm on Twitter. So I was that Twitter jail, that's how we went down this path. I'm also on Facebook and Instagram and some of the other ones. But I'm not, the only thing I'm posting there is photography. In fact, Facebook has become, I'm like blown away because I got off Facebook in 2017 and I never joined again until just a few months ago. And I can't even wrap my head around what a disaster that site is now. It's so bad. I think they should just call it Karen Book. Karen Book. It's not Facebook anymore. It's Karen Book. Because my feed right now, I have 2 friends on Facebook right now, and I don't even care if I get another one. I mean, if any of you are on Facebook, you can find me. Just look me up. Lit Good Photography is my photography page on Facebook. Karen book. I'm going to call it Karen book from now on, because my feed is full of things I never followed, and that's irritating enough because it's just stuff I don't really care about or want to see. But every time I see one of these videos and I click on it just to see the comments, because the comments are literally, it does not matter what the video is or what the content is. When you click on the comments, it's nothing but complaints from Karen. There was a guy, I just saw this morning, that's what brought it to my mind. There was a guy who had a video, he was doing some spray paint art. He was like spray painting through some stencils on a piece of wood, and it was kind of cool what he came up with at the end. It was kind of weird. It didn't make a whole, like, some of the stuff he didn't make any sense, but spray paint art. So there were just hundreds of comments from Karen about how dangerous paint fumes are from spray paint cans and how people shouldn't be doing this. Okay, fine. There's a video with some people doing something on a farm with the farm animals, and Karen shows up to start yelling at everybody that you shouldn't be eating meat and that you shouldn't be killing animals for food. And then they show then there's another video of some animals at the zoo, and here comes Karen to tell us we should be setting the animals free. We shouldn't have animals in zoos. That's mean and cruel and unusual punishment for the animals. And I can't say I really ever want to go to a zoo again. It's just going to remind me of being in a cage and not being able to walk anywhere besides a tiny little room and getting fed slop every day. But, you know, Karen, go away. There's a video of kids at the beach, and Karen shows up in the comments about how the kids should be wearing sunscreen and how it's dangerous to be out in the sun. And then there's another video of a guy doing some cool chainsaw art. He's like making a eagle out of a piece of wood with a chainsaw, and here comes Karen showing up in the comments to say about how chainsaws are too loud and chainsaws are dangerous and you shouldn't be using a chainsaw like that. You're going to get hurt or you're going to hurt somebody. And it's like, you know what? Just shut the fuck up, Karen. Shut the fuck up, you obnoxious bitch. I can't stand you. Go away, Karen. I remember Dane Cook did this whole stand-up routine about how Karen is always a douche. And there are some reasons why that was even more hysterical at the time when he came out with that. For me, I'll just say it. I was dating a girl named Karen, and let's just say things didn't work out. And when Dane Cook came out and said Karen is always a douche, I'm like, yeah, I know. I've seen it. I've lived it. But yeah, Karen, you ruined Facebook, man. I mean, what the hell, Karen? If I post a sunset photo, what's your complaint going to be? Looking at sunsets will damage your eyesight. You shouldn't be out in nature. Nature is for the animals. Stay on the sidewalk and don't walk on the grass. That's what Karen's going to show up and post a bunch of complaints. It doesn't matter if I post a photo of a sunset. If I post a photo of the city at night, it's going to be Karen showing up saying, you shouldn't be walking around the city at night. It's dangerous. You could get mugged. You know, like, what the hell? Our police are already stretched too thin, and we have people like you out there taking photographs, and you're going to get mugged, and the police are going to have to waste their time coming to your rescue. Just go home. Stay home. So, yeah, Karen ruined Facebook, and I hope she stays away from Twitter, because we can't have you ruining every social media platform out there, Karen. I mean, between Karen and the AI garbage on Facebook, because the other thing you see, every time you click a post to read the comments, and it doesn't matter what the post is, Facebook has some AI bot warning at the very top of the list of comments. And honestly, it makes people not even want to comment or talk anymore. And the one thing I notice about Twitter right now is it's the opposite of that. I did some homework on this because of the premium plans, and I just kind of wanted to read some stuff and catch up on what's going on with Twitter since Elon took it over. And right now, Twitter is the opposite. Right now, you get rewarded by the algorithm for commenting on other people's posts. And in fact, I was reading about it. The algorithm rewards your account more for the comments that you make on other people's posts than for the posts that you post yourself. And like I said, I was reading into this because I'm thinking about maybe paying for a subscription. so that for the sole purpose of being able to post videos directly to the feed, or being able to edit a post if I make a spelling mistake or something like that. They also have monetization, just like YouTube, but you have to pay them $8 a month to be able to get into that level. And I don't know, I just, I don't want to spend my money on stupid things. So, that's $8 a month. That's like that's at least 3, 6, that's like 2 iced coffees at Tim Hortons I'm giving up for the sake of being able to post nonsense and memes to Twitter. So, I don't know. I'm holding back. I'm going to think about it. We'll see. I'm getting a little bit of growth on Twitter, though. I'm closing in on 100 followers, and I haven't put that much effort into it, although I think most of those are spammy porn bots. So I don't know how many real people. That's the other thing. I don't know how many real people are following me on Twitter, but I did get one account. I think her name is Sassafras something or other. She's pretty popular. She's got like 250,000 followers, and she followed me, probably because of my strong meme game. And so Twitter is a place where you can actually grow an audience right now. YouTube and Twitter. I don't see any other platforms right now that have the ability to grow an audience solely by what you do on the platform. Any other social media platform that I'm looking at right now, you have to bring your own audience. You have to bring them yourself. People aren't going to find you on that platform unless you take them there. So that's kind of why I'm thinking about maybe kicking in a few bones and throwing it towards Twitter right now. I don't know. But right now, the other platforms are pretty much dead in terms of growing an account. But like I said, a lot of the followers on Twitter are bots. They have a big bot problem right now on Twitter. And, I don't know if people are going to watch an hour-long video on Twitter. So I might experiment with it, $3 a month, maybe pay for a whole year, $35. I don't know, but that's a lot of iced coffee I'm giving up for the ability to post some videos to Twitter that I don't know if anybody will even watch. So I don't know. If I had money, if I had a job, it would be a no-brainer. I would have already done it. But I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you for this YouTube channel, God, Jesus. I thank you for pushing me in this direction and the motivation that you gave me to keep going every day. That's really cool. I'm thankful that I didn't rely on these, the side shows like Rumble and stuff like that. I'm thankful that God has intervened more than once when I've fallen down. I'm thankful for my good health, for the fact that I still have job opportunities in the wings. I'm thankful that you helped me creatively brainstorm yesterday and come up with some good ideas for a business. Maybe that's the direction I'm supposed to go. I don't know. Thankful I haven't gone hungry and that I have the equipment that I need to get this done. And, I'm thankful for the church I'm going to and all of these other things. Thankful that I do have some opportunities to rest. I was talking about the YMCA yesterday, and there was a guy that I was going to go there with today. And I woke up and I decided, okay, I'm going to go. Well, then the guy showed up and he decided he didn't want to go today. So I was like, okay, that's fine. I kind of don't want to go myself. I just want to do my regular thing. But somebody on the comments section chimed in yesterday saying, what if they have a hot tub? Wouldn't that be nice to go soak in the hot tub? And I'm like, cha-ching, right there. That was my motivation. I'm like, yes, I definitely want to go check out the YMCA, especially if I can go for free right now. They might have a hot tub there. Well, I went on their website. They have a steam room and a sauna and a pool. For sure. It's listed right on the website. I don't know if they have a hot tub. What's going on? Oh my goodness, dude. I don't know if you can hear the dogs barking. This stuff bothers me more than it bothers you. It just interrupted. It stopped my train of thought dead. Hot tub. So the guy who I was going to go to the YMCA with, he said they might actually have a hot tub next to the pool. I guess the only way to find out is to go. So on Saturdays, they have really limited hours. They're only open from like 7 in the morning till noon. And from what they say on their website, not everything in the building is open. But on the weekdays, they're open till 8 o'clock at night. So I might just pick a day this week after dinner to walk up there, go for a little swim, get in the hot tub if they have one. Sauna, steam room, cooling. I could certainly go for that. So thank you to the person in the comments yesterday who made that suggestion, because I'm a snob. When I travel, the way I travel, I sleep out in the woods. I camp. I find free places to camp. I travel the country, north, south, east, west. I'm constantly camping in free places, or I'm spending no more than $10 a night. And if I'm spending $10 a night at a state park or something like that, I'm getting showers and a bathroom, and I'm getting something for it. And but more often than not, I would much rather camp in a free campsite that's secluded with nobody else around. So that's how I roll. But every now and then I'll treat myself to a hotel room, but I hate staying in hotels. So the way that I got around my hatred of staying in a hotel is I'll only stay in a hotel room if there's a hot tub in the room. If there's a jacuzzi in the room, I'll stay in the hotel, especially if I can get a really good deal to where the hot tub room costs the same as a regular room. And you can do that. That's possible to do. I do it all the time. And then when I do find a hotel that gives me a good deal like that, I'll mark it on my travel maps so that if I'm ever in that area again, boom, $50-$60 a night for a jacuzzi suite, boom, yeah, I'll do it. So I don't even know how that slipped my mind all this time. It's been 11 some odd weeks since I've been homeless, and I've had access to go to the YMCA, and the light bulb never went off in my head that they might have a hot tub to just chill in and relax. And that'll motivate me like no one's business to go for a swim, go swim a few laps, get all tired, and then go sit in a hot tub or a sauna or a steam room or whatever. Boom. I mean, So I'm definitely hitting that up this week. One of the days this week coming up, I'm definitely going to go over there and check that out. So let's see, the standard plugs, the mailing list. Once I get 20 photos posted to Etsy and the shop connected to the YouTube channel, I'm going to send you all a deal. And it's going to be a deal. I'm 99% sure it's going to be something like you buy 3 photographs, you get a really awesome deal, because that's the way that I can offset the shipping costs and all that kind of stuff and really give you some like really good deal and a really good value there. So I don't want to if you want to go and buy something right now, have at it. But if you've been waiting for the deal to come, I'm really going to push myself to get those 20 photos up there, and then I'm going to send you all, everybody who's on the mailing list, I'm going to send you a link to buy a really good deal and get some good art for your walls. And I'm not 100% sure what that deal is going to be yet or how it's going to work. I don't know if I'm just going to let you pick the photos that you want, or I'm going to bundle a popular bundle together or whatever. I don't know the details yet. I don't even know how. I might just send you to a private payment page for it instead of going to Etsy or the other shop. That way, the only fees that I have to deal with will be from Square, and I can set up a special page just for that deal. So there's lots of different ways that this can work, but the only way that you're going to get that deal is if you're on the mailing list at free.litgood.com. Sign up for the email list. You're going to get some free stuff in return. You're going to get some wallpaper for your phone, your desktop computers and whatnot. And you can bookmark the link that gets sent back to you, because I'm not going to change it. And I'm going to put more stuff up there one of these days. But, I just add it to my list of 150 different projects I'm working on right now. So the YouTube shop, of course, you go down there. There's some photos listed. You click on the shopping tab on the YouTube channel. You'll see at least 11 photos there. At least 11. So I think it's 11 right now. The photography website is litgood.com. That's another project in the works. I'm trying to figure out the best way to optimize the image sizes so that page loads a lot faster. When I built it, I was on a super fast internet connection, and so I really didn't realize how slow that page loads until I got on a slow internet connection. But I know you're all broke right now, and the FJB economy is hitting everybody hard, and for the cost of my most expensive photographs for sale right now are $2,000, and that's for a 40-inch by 60-inch metallic print that comes ready to hang on your wall, a sheet of aluminum with UV resistant ink. It's coated with a coating of white high gloss ink, and then on top of the white is the photograph is printed so that the colors are vivid and sharp. But it's on a sheet of metal, rounded corners. It's ready to hang on your wall. It needs absolutely nothing. But it's about $2,000, and that's just because of how much it costs me to pay the lab to make these things. But I know that's like 3 bags of groceries at the grocery store right now. So, I mean, if I had to choose between another 2 weeks worth of food or a $2,000 picture to hang on my wall, I'm buying the food. I know. I'm with you all. My EBT can barely afford to feed me for a week, let alone a month. So, I mean, something's got to be done. But, once again, the digital chicken bucket, it's at donate.litgood.com. And if you want to check me out, my professional life, when I am done creating this business name, this fictitious name, and I throw together some sort of website for it, you'll be able to see I'll talk about it on the channel here, but you'll see it on LinkedIn. And if any of you professionals want to connect on LinkedIn, I'm easy to find. And from there, I'm just going to wrap this up because I'm thinking, oh yeah, we went over an hour. So, there's going to be a gap in the video. There's probably going to be a missing couple of seconds from this conversation, and I'm not going to be able to post it to TikTok today. Oh well. So I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Peace out.